Why do so many people acquire so much success and some don't? Why do some members of the family swim in wealth and prosperity and some still find it difficult to see the ladder of success? Now, listen to this story that took place in a town full of busy streets, noisy crowds, and colorful stores that stretch as far as the eye could see. It was a place where merchants came to sell their goods. Some were simple farmers selling fresh produce, while others dealt in fine fabrics, jewelry, and spices. But among all the traders, one merchant stood out. Her name was Amara. Amara was a kind woman, known far and wide for her honesty and skill. She sold the finest baskets, woven by hand, each one a masterpiece. People came from distant villages to buy her baskets, for they were not only beautiful but also strong enough to carry even the heaviest load. Amara was hardworking, and her success in the marketplace allowed her to care for her family and even help those in need. She was well loved, but, as often happens with success, her good fortune did not sit well with everyone. You see, there were other merchants who were regarded as jealous merchants, who watched Amara's stall each day with envy. They saw the long line of customers waiting eagerly to buy her baskets, while their own stores often stood empty. And among these merchants was Amara's own cousin, a man named Keto. Keto had once been close to Amara. They'd grown up together, and for a time, they even worked side by side. But over the years, Keto's heart had become twisted with jealousy. He could not bear to see her success, and one day, he decided that he would bring her down. Keto began to whisper. He whispered poison into the ears of the other merchants and even some of Amara's customers. He told them that Amara's baskets were cursed. He said that anyone who kept them in their homes would invite bad luck upon their family, that sickness and misfortune would follow. At first, the people did not believe him. They knew Amara, after all, and she had never brought them anything but good. But Keto was persistent, and he had a silver tongue. He spread his rumors day by day, like a spider spinning its web. Soon, the whispers grew louder. People began to question Amara's good fortune, to wonder if perhaps there was some truth in Keto's words. Why was her stall always so successful? Why did her baskets seem different? Little by little, doubt took root. Her once loyal customers began to avoid her, casting suspicious glances as they hurried past her stall. Amara noticed, of course. She could feel the change, like a cold wind blowing through the marketplace. One by one, her friends turned away, until she was left alone, surrounded by her beautiful baskets, with no one to buy them. Days turned into weeks, and Amara's store grew quieter and quieter. Soon, her earnings were barely enough to survive. She struggled to keep her head high, but the weight of betrayal was heavy on her shoulders. Worst of all, she knew that her own cousin was behind it. She could not understand why Keto, her family, would do such a thing. In her heart, she wanted to confront him, to shout and scream and demand answers. But that was not Amara's way. She was proud, and she would not give him the satisfaction of seeing her pain. And so, she left the market. Yes, one morning, before the first light of dawn, Amara gathered her things and walked to the edge of town, where the land was quiet and the air was fresh. There, she set up a simple stall, far from the bustling market square. She sat, her baskets arranged neatly around her, and waited. At first, only a few travelers passed by, giving her a curious glance. But one by one, people began to stop. They marveled at the craftsmanship of her baskets. News of the basket woman by the roadside began to spread, and slowly, her business started to grow once more. Travelers came from far and wide, and soon, Amara had more customers than she'd ever had in the market square. Her quiet stall at the edge of town became known as the place to find the finest baskets in all the land. And with her success came a new peace, a deeper joy. She no longer had to endure the cold stares, the whispers, or the jealousy. She had found a place where she could thrive, free from the bitterness of others. Keto had not fared so well. With Amara gone, Keto expected to claim her customers, to fill his stall with gold. But the people who came to the market no longer trusted him. They remembered his lies, his venomous whispers, and they saw the emptiness in his eyes. Slowly, his own customers began to drift away, and the other merchants, who had once joined in his scheming, turned against him, for they saw what his jealousy had done. Keto's stall fell into ruin, his goods left unsold, gathering dust as he watched from the shadows, filled with regret. One day, Keto swallowed his pride and went to Amara. He found her at her roadside store, surrounded by travelers and baskets of every color. He stood before her, his head bowed, and spoke in a voice barely louder than a whisper. "Amara," he said, "I am sorry. I wronged you, and I have lost everything. Please, forgive me." Amara looked at him, her eyes filled with sadness. She was quiet for a long time, and Keto could feel his heart pounding, his hands shaking. Finally, she spoke, her voice gentle but firm. "Keto," she said, you betrayed me. You hurt me in ways that I cannot forget. But I will not hold on to hatred. I forgive you, but forgiveness does not mean we can go back to the way things were. You must walk your own path now." And with those words, she turned away, leaving Keto to the choices he had made. As for Amora, she continued to thrive at her little roadside store, her baskets more beloved than ever. She found peace in her work and joy in the quiet life she had built. The town never forgot her story, and even now, they tell it as a lesson in the cost of jealousy and the power of forgiveness. And so, my friends, remember Amora and Keto, for sometimes, the greatest betrayal comes from those closest to us, but the strongest hearts find a way to forgive, even if they never forget. Now that you've heard Amora's story, let me ask you this: if you were in her shoes, would you have forgiven Keto, or would you have walked away without looking back? Let me know what you would have done, and why, in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more tales like this, please give the video a like, share it with friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more captivating stories. Thank you for watching.